This video is going to be a somewhat lengthy film study examination of the 2023 season that Jared Goff just produced. Hopefully, it'll be a revealing look at how he was able to execute so many disparate concepts for the Lions offense. Really in command and in control in all facets. Look, they averaged or exceeded, 370 yards of total offense in 14 of 20 games in 2023. So 70% of the games they're at 370, 375 yards of total offense. The NFL average of a game is, I think, about 338, 340. So that number appears significant to me, especially given that the Lions were so efficient while doing so, while averaging 27 points per game. Fifth in the NFL. Goff, 30 touchdowns against 12 INTs. Good enough for fourth in the league in touchdowns. And his second year in a row in Detroit with a near 100 quarterback rating. I mean, the old school quarterback rating, not the fabricated QBR one. He reached a 67% completion percentage for the third time in his career. I think that's pretty remarkable, given that he also threw for over 4,500 yards for the third time while doing so. Outside of two games against the Bears and the Thanksgiving Day loss to the Packers, I thought he was extremely efficient and very much in charge of an offense that was just flat out one of the best in the NFL. He committed 9 of his 16 turnovers in the regular season in those 3 games. Again, the 2 division matchups against the Bears and the Thanksgiving home loss to the Packers. In the last 4 games of the year, Detroit had 1 turnover. Talking about against the Vikings, and then their playoff run against the Rams, Bucks, and 49ers. And that 1 turnover was a shocking fumble from Jahmyr Gibbs against the 49ers. Thought Goff played a really clean 2023. I want to take a look at some of the things he did really well, at least one of which might surprise you. So we'll do that one first. Jared Goff is clearly not very mobile compared to many other quarterbacks in the NFL. The Lions don't run a lot of zone read stuff, and he rarely scrambles. And there are times where teams in 2023 were able to disrupt the pass game by getting Goff away from or off of his spot, off of the structure of the play. The problem in some cases, and it's not going to be these plays I'm showing you here, this is my setup, is Goff gets rid of the ball so quickly. His willingness to do so, actually, it's a skill. He does so repeatedly, enough such that I think teams at times are hesitant to blitz him because of the threat of a quick pass that could result in a big play. Nonetheless, you have plays like this that are anomalous from a Jared Goff standpoint. I'm going to show you, I think, 6 of them. 3rd and 9, week 13 against the Saints. Inside of 2 minutes left when the ball was snapped. And Goff moved off his spot, takes a big hit, give the end zone angle this one so you can get a second look at it. Takes a huge hit from a safety, 31. By the way, I think this is Davenport here working off the Saints left side. Jackson is going to lose to the D tackle over here. Kind of disrupt Goff initially. You got one crosser, which is St. Brown, whose helmet you can see just at the bottom of the screen. Goff, if he was set up on time in a clean platform, probably will be looking for St. Brown as the first crosser. As it stands, 93 gets in the way, and right before 31 hits him, Goff identifies Josh Reynolds. 3rd and 9, picks up 12 yards, seals the game. We're able to go into victory formation thereafter. I'm going to talk about Jared Goff, or when anyone talks about him, throwing quickly, making quick decisions, identifying things pre-snap to know the coverage and help his teammates get in the right spot by adjusting plays, sometimes adjusting to run plays. I'll show you an example of that later. What's not talked about is his underrated ability to move at times in the pocket and resituate in order to make a big throw like the game-sealing one right there against the Saints. Week 16 against the Vikings here, it's a 3rd and 5. I really like this one because, first of all, I anticipate where Goff would have thrown this football far earlier than he actually does. Again, it's because the pressure forces him to move or resituate in the pocket. St. Brown in motion, left to right, 11 personnel, ends up being trips. He's going to threaten the wheel up to the top side of the screen, a wheel route threatening to the outer third, usually from the bottom of the numbers to the sideline. In this case, St. Brown's going to sit it down, and as soon as he clears this second-level defender, 58, Goff would normally be throwing the football, and you can see Goff is at the end of his drop here. Perfect position, reading to that side where Jamison Williams is running on an out, and then St. Brown is going to curl. But unfortunately, a defensive lineman flashes directly in front of his face. He's got to sidestep it quickly. I don't have the end zone angle of this one. I really like this play. I would compare it to the one against the Saints. When you are playing at an extremely high level and executing all facets or concepts of the offense, and then on top of these situations, many of which are third down, I think it speaks really highly to how well Jared Goff played. Does he deserve a whole lot of money? I don't know, man. That's up for other people to consider. But you can win football games, a lot of them, and they proved it in 2023 that they could damn near make the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Against the Bears, fourth quarter, this one's a very short pass, a little dump off to the running back. But Goff has taken a little bit of contact. This is actually the second time he did this on this same drive. I think this is the game-tying drive. I could be wrong there. Or no, this is a drive to cut it to within one score. And you can see there's pressure on Goff from a defensive tackle. So he doesn't have the ability to set his feet and operate from a clean pocket, understands the situation, gets it out to Montgomery underneath. Not as damaging a play, perhaps, as some of the other ones on third down. But I think some of these just illustrate to you how much poise Goff plays with, how confident he is in his ability to get the job done. Broncos are threatening this double mug look, and he actually is hit. Really amazing play by Sam Laporta as well. I'll show you this view one more time, and then the end zone. Laporta, I believe, is going to chip Browning. Two of these guys on the inside here for the Broncos are going to drop out, and then Simmons is also going to drop out. Almost ends up looking like a invert Tampa 2, if you will, where you've got a half-field defender in a corner, a half-field defender in a corner, invert cover 2, because the corners are the two deep guys, and you have safeties as the flat players, and another DB able to run the pipe between the hashes and be that middle-of-the-field defender in a Tampa 2, which sounds kind of weird, but that's basically what it is. Goff sensing some pressure from the right side, able to resituate, and then doesn't have anything available really at all, but knows that there's pressure from his left side just as he gets slung to the ground, gets the ball out to Laporta, makes it look really cool, and executes this quickly. Steps outside, jab steps outside, lets Browning get to the inside, and then KOs him, goes to the ground himself. Goff is able to convert. I mean, really, they were unstoppable that day against the Broncos. I think first two possessions, maybe three, unable to develop scores. Everything thereafter was pretty easy for them. This is one of my favorite throws of the whole season, for any quarterback, that is. Against the Packers, week 4 on the road. It's a 1st and 10. I believe we're in the second quarter here. Play action boot to his left. So there's no movement here that's off schedule. So I'm not going to sell that to you at all. So it's different from some of the other concepts or plays that I've shown you. This one's designed. It's designed to be a play fake, the running back counter-stepping, and then coming back to the right-hand side of the offense, bottom side of our screen. Goff booting in the other direction. Reynolds running this deeper out, threatening the DB, kind of bending or curving his route. Goff throws it out in front of him. Reynolds has got to go get it. Give you the end zone angle so you can see how perfectly this ball was thrown, in my opinion. Certainly not an example of him moving around in the pocket or using what limited mobility he has to convert a third down. Structure of the play is such that he's supposed to throw the ball here. You can see it's a flood concept. You got Reynolds there, I think St. Brown from the other side, and Laporta, who had blocked initially, now working out into the flat. So a flood concept to the left for a right-handed quarterback, gets his hips and his feet and everything in line, and delivers an absolute strike to Josh Reynolds. Thought it was a beautiful play. Didn't see them use this a whole lot more often, to be honest with you, this flood concept to their left from under center play action. But the offense is so diverse. Ben Johnson has multiple ways to accomplish the same task. Last play, another example of a last play illustrating his movement, designed to have him semi-roll out to the right, come back across to the left-hand side to Laporta. But ends up being a touchdown again. They just really shredded the Broncos. Got St. Brown in the backfield. And then a running back in motion, left to right. So really giving the defense a lot to think about in terms of St. Brown being in the backfield and then him leaking out, basically carrying a defender, and then Laporta leaking out. Look how close they are together, but St. Brown's route is clearing this space. Second man through, basically, is what we would call it. The second player through the same zone is generally going to be wide open. Whether it is zone or man, it's essentially, it works out like a mesh concept if it's man. The confidence Goff played with, I thought, was pretty obvious. The ability to change plays pre-snap, get his teammates in the right look, execute the things Ben Johnson asked him to, all, I think, on full display. The little slight movements, as I went back through this year's film, I think this has taken me 3 weeks, way too long. I think I had 140 plays saved up initially, and trying to cut them down into something that was digestible for you guys was challenging, and I may not be able to hit all the right notes. You guys let me know what you think of the first selection of plays that I chose to illustrate how well I think he played. Even better, really, in my opinion, than the 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions kind of displays. A couple of the overarching themes that I feel like I have to allude to or at least mention: protecting Jared Goff, giving him a clean pocket to throw from, establishing a run game so that the under center play action concepts work better. Sure, that's all a factor or a part of the picture looking at his 2023, but there's plenty of areas of the field where he's going to eat you up no matter what you do defensively, unless you just disrupt receivers and are able to get extreme pressure on the quarterback. This is very similar to a play concept that I just showed you a little bit ago against the Vikings, whereby St. Brown's going in motion from left to right, possibly threatening a wheel, except this route's not as deep down the field as the other one. As soon as he clears this nickel safety, who widens up to respect the flat route by Laporta, Goff is already delivering the football, already getting rid of it, out of the shotgun, under center. I don't think there's any difference in his ability to execute in his arm strength up to those intermediate areas. So I like to separate the field by fifths underneath. Forgive me for how sloppily that is written, but 1 from left to right, 2 where the middle of the field is 3, the area from the hash to the top of the numbers 4, and then 5. So we would say zones 1 through 5 are left to right from a teaching standpoint for the offense. For defense, it was flipped because we're facing the other direction. Zone 4 and zone 2 to a lesser extent to the left-hand side, he just eats defenses up, whether it's shotgun or under center, quick decisions, getting his eyes on the read, and then being confident to throw the football with the arm to get it there before the defense is able to adjust. And he's also got the intelligence that only veteran quarterbacks really have to be able to go to read number 1 and 2 and understand a player is going to move in that direction, is going to slide in that direction. I think Goff does incredible film study along with Ben Johnson on which guys will move with your eyes and then which guys will not. Moving forward to a little bit quicker throw. This is a 3-step to Josh Reynolds fade. Talked about this on the Patreon a little bit last week. I think it's an amazing throw. There's no pressure on him, obviously, because he's getting rid of the ball so quick. You can't get pressure on a 3-step unless it's interior, obviously. And in this case, if you look at the coverage, this is one of the things about Goff, and many NFL quarterbacks, don't get me wrong. Some of these quick throws, it's almost like he understood what the blitz pressure and the coverage was going to be, because when you back map them and you go look at the quicker throws, I have them in a folder. I think I had 13 of them. So many of them were on high blitz pressure situations on first or second down. So it's not like it was 3rd and 5 and he knew there was going to be pressure called by the defensive coordinator. My point is, in talking about the film study a minute ago, is I think Goff and Ben Johnson and the whole entire offensive staff just do a great job of preparing him on the field for recognizing when a potential blitz is coming. Having the ability to either A, change the play, or something built in that he can step up and call to take advantage of a matchup out on the edge. I thought it was an amazing throw. I thought they were 3 for 3 on that throw this year. Maybe it was 3 for 4. 3rd down against the Bucs on the road, week 6. 3 DBs all on the same side. 2 inside linebackers and an outside linebacker, edge rusher, if you will. to the boundary, so Goff knows he's getting man. Two inside linebackers match up with the running back and Laporta. Beautiful throw that I will give the end zone angle of. Look, I thought Levante David did an amazing job that day trying to defend and disrupt and make things difficult for Sam Laporta, who played with a ankle injury of some level. But this is a perfect example, if you ask me, of Goff recognizing the coverage. By the way, this is Davis defending Khalif Raymond here in the middle of the field, man. I thought it was a perfect example, this throw, of Goff having a clean platform and delivering a perfect throw, such that even if the coverage was exponentially better than we had here from a Levante David perspective, Goff is still going to complete this pass. That is absolutely wide open in the NFL. Goff puts it right on the money. It's fun to watch the end zone angle for real. I'll try to sprinkle it in to each video. You guys have to let me know if you enjoy it. Perfect example of zone 4 from a play action concept. In this area here, hash to the top of the numbers, right-hand side. Goff's a right-handed quarterback. Talking about jumbo 13 personnel play action under center. Brock Wright is at fullback. And so his route just pulls the defender out of the window such that Goff is able to trigger this throw in to Laporta before the other inside linebacker can get there. Now, if you go back and you look at the design of the play, most play action concepts have the running back going to one side and the play action pass concept going to the other. It's kind of downhill here, but this run action is at this linebacker just to hold him just enough so that this window back to the other side of the field, once it's been cleared by Wright, being picked up by the inside linebacker, Goff's able to get it in there. I mean, does he have one of the strongest arms in the league? Is his deep ball great? Well, the answer to that second question is no. But Goff has a good enough arm to get things done up to 18, 22, 24 yards with a pretty zippy delivery, if you ask me. I thought this one was very similar to two of the throws I've shown you earlier. Actually talked about this on my Patreon last week as well. Touchdown to Laporta, week 8 at home against the Raiders. Getting this boundary side safety to spin down. Definitely some kind of coverage mix-up between this triangulated group of defensive players. You can see that Marcus Peters and the safety who have spun down, they've released Laporta. Additionally, this linebacker has widened up with Gibbs. In zone 4 again, wide open. Robert Spillane unable to make a play on the ball before Goff gets rid of it. He's exceptional at just taking what's there. Every NFL quarterback doesn't do that. There's some who are a little bit greedy or look downfield first consistently. Goff is a guy who I think he will go to his first read if it's open. He'll take it, make you defend it first because he knows that could open up the complementary routes later on in the game. Gets this throw in there, wide open again in the NFL. Laporta walks in. Against the Chiefs, yes, he's going to miss the vertical on a third down. 3rd and 11, I believe. Yes, he's missing the vertical right up the middle of the field to St. Brown. This is a brilliant throw. I do wonder, and I think I said this even after that week 1 game, if Goff is cognizant of the pressure off the edge. You've got a DB or nickel blitz. Actually, it's Snead, along with someone to occupy the tackle. So there's really nothing that a right tackle can do. I do wonder if Goff is getting rid of this football because he's worried about the blitzer, and that impacted his ability to either see or set up to throw that football to St. Brown, even though this is a pretty long throw. Ends up being an 18-yard gain. It's one of the things that annoyed me immediately this year in the NFL season was screenshots. Screenshots of wide open receivers. Yes, it's wide open. We don't need the screenshot to tell us if we're actually watching the film, but sometimes the quarterback or anyone else is adjusting to the play, adjusting to the pressure that's right in front of their face. We don't get that angle, then either the all-22 or the end zone really does it justice. This is a ridiculous play by the corner up to the top side of the screen for the Rams. You talk about film study and identifying things. He clearly recognizes this play concept. 12 personnel, twin wing, so twins to the bottom side of the field, wing to the top side, and watch how quickly this guy adjusts. When only Laporta releases to the outside to run a route, Now, if they'd come back to this later on, potential for Laporta to run over the top of that defensive end outside linebacker. But amazing read by that corner, and then got to give Goff credit for the arm strength to stick that throw in there, and an even better catch by Josh Reynolds, who, of course, unfortunately has since moved on. 24-yard gain here against his former team in the wild card round. I mean, there wasn't, I don't think I give the end zone angle of this one. There wasn't much room there for Goff to get that throw in before the DB showed up. Finally, well covered, 3rd and 18, well covered from the standpoint that many people talked about this, myself included. I think Goff does a great job of throwing to the first guy that's open. What I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I think it opens things up later. Watch his helmet here. And the safety, Brown, who ends up, quote, out of position. Goff is initially looking down here. And I think he's looking to try to clear this space up as much as he can. Or if the receiver is not well covered, potentially deliver the football there. Now, this is a 3rd and 18. So he's looking for the whole thing. And at this point, you're over to read number 3 or 4. With these two guys being 1 and 2 in some order, my suspicion, since it's a 3rd and 18, is this is number 1. This is just a route to hold this defender, potentially pull him up, meaning if his feet, instead of being here, were down here, Goff may have a layered throw to that receiver out towards the left sideline. So we're over in this direction to 3 and 4. Well, you've got Jamison Williams here pulling this safety, Jair Brown, who's essentially the hook to curl player on the hash in a cover 3, if you ask me. I'll let it run one more time so you guys can see it. And Goff just trusts everything. 3rd and 18, maybe they had a lot of information that San Francisco played a shit ton of cover 3. And that's why he knew he was going to get. So when I call it cover 3, you're welcome to call it something else if you wish, but you got definitely 3 deep defenders. I wouldn't call it quarter, half, in my opinion, because I don't think that they're asking this guy to play the flats with no hash defender at all to his side that's going to stick near the sticks. In this case, Jair Brown went with the deeper post from the other side, Jamison Williams. Goff sticks the throw into the open area. Again, I'd call it zone 2, mirrored image of zone 4. No pressure, clean throwing platform, able to step up, deliver the football. I mean, that's Jared Goff's wheelhouse right there. 1, not open. 2, not open. 3, open, take it, bang. Classic quarterback play, if you ask me. Very different from some of the other quarterbacks in the league, don't get me wrong, who maybe look for personnel-based. Now, having said that, Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown got a lot of targets in 2023. So the target share may not support what I'm saying, which is I think Jared Goff generally goes through his reads organically and just takes whatever the defense gives them based upon the situation. In this case, a 3rd and 18. He's not going to throw it to the running back out in the flats unless it's Jahmyr Gibbs. One of my favorite throws from the entire season from a Jared Goff perspective, this 3rd and 14. Week 13 on the road against the Chargers. Of course, there's an unbelievable 41-38 win. This one goes for 12 yards. So you may say, Coach, hold on a second. It's 3rd and 14, and you think it's a great throw to get us only 12 yards. Yes, because from a Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson perspective, they're willing and actually motivated to go for it on 4th down. This sets them up for a 4th and 2, which they convert to Sam Laporta on the very next play. Motion across to Laporta, who's going to initially get a seam release. Josh Reynolds stepping outside and then running underneath the kind of that patented route from the backside. St. Brown deeper out to the sideline, knows that he'll be able to get to that space because you got a clear out route by Jamison Williams on the corner up top. I'll give the end zone angle of this one. One thing to notice from the play, and all 22 I think shows it well, and the end zone just confirms it. You got a lot of time for Goff to get through this. He delivers it quick. The ball is out now. He's not waiting and holding on to see if someone gets open. It's not an anticipation throw. It's a read. It's reading the defense and understanding the coverage. Look at the location of the ball. For an NFL quarterback, it's a good throw. For regular people like us, that's an amazing throw. I think we should appreciate it sometimes from the standpoint of it's just a human being who threw the ball from the other hash quickly and decisively in a place where only his receiver could make a play for it. In this case, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's reliable and wins a lot of one-on-one battles anyway. You get a great shot of it there, how long this throw was from the right hash all the way over here towards the sideline, even though it only goes down as a 12-yard gain. If you did the Pythagorean theorem, yes, I'm a math nerd, this would be your C squared. It would be a pretty long distance, significantly longer than just 12 yards. I call this route a fake smash concept. It's going to be a completion to St. Brown up at the top side of the screen out of empty. Again, I think Goff has gone through his second read here to come back to St. Brown up at the top side. I'll show you two instances of this route, and I'll also digress a little bit about split field coverages. Basically, you're getting number one receiver just kind of sitting down, a little hitch. Number two, making it look like he's going to run a smash concept, which would be a corner route, but then he's going to sit this back down right near the top of the numbers. Again, I'd call it zone 4. We're throwing it from the left hash. I think Goff has already looked here, and all he's doing is trying to draw that inside linebacker, Bobby Wagner, further in this direction towards the middle of the field to clear open this route to St. Brown. I'll let you guys see it again. And then when we talk about split field coverages, you'll see the same concept on the next play coming up, and you'll see the Seahawks covered in a completely different manner. So as we go through this, on this run through, check out the corner which is Witherspoon, eventually defending St. Brown, and then the safety running down into the flats with the number one receiver who just basically hitched it up. You can see the safety who was lined up over St. Brown goes out to the flats, and the corner plays deep. Goff reads it, quickly delivers the ball after looking to the middle of the field, just enough to hold or pull Bobby Wagner over to Sam Laporta's route. Same concept here, down to the bottom side of the screen. It's going to be a completion to Laporta on a fake smash. Notice how the defense covers it differently this time. The receiver hitches up, Witherspoon, the corner, stays with it. The safety gets off, so you're looking at a different coverage call for the defense. Nonetheless, Goff is able to read it quickly, get rid of the football, even though the pocket is absolutely being collapsed off the left side there. Laporta, amazing catch. Despite the loss, Laporta showed, he had 3 catches in that game, 2 of them on third down. I think one of them was against Kobe Bryant. It was just pretty amazing. Same 2 looks at the same pass play here to Jameson Williams, 22 yards. I think late second quarter against the Raiders. Again, empty formation. A little bit deeper throw, and when you get the end zone angle, you'll see how great of a throw it was, even though it's an open space. From this angle, you can see how close Jameson Williams was to busting this and really taking it all the way to the house. You've got 3 to the field, 2 to the boundary, which is typical out of an empty set. Goff's vision appears to be looking to the middle of the field or this boundary side safety to see what he's doing. And once he confirms that the boundary side safety was playing high, meaning didn't spin down at all, Goff knew that that area of the field was pretty much going to be open. Once Reynolds was able to clear the linebacker level. We're talking about clearing that player there. Goff doesn't wait for him to be clear. He throws it before he is. I think you get a great view of Jameson Williams' helmet here. He's moving in this direction. The ball is being thrown here, but Williams hasn't cleared him yet. Goff understands the route. He's got extreme control of the offense, if you ask me. Great accuracy. It was a lot of fun for me to try to keep track of the Lions offense and the Ravens offense at the same time in 2023 because they did run such disparate offenses in a lot of ways. There were some carryover concepts, don't get me wrong, but when you're talking about 2 different quarterbacks, Jared Goff versus Lamar Jackson, very different effect on the game, very different way sometimes of going through the reads. It challenged me to try to learn more about the game myself, and I learned that Jared Goff's a fun player to watch, and everything that he was able to execute in 2023 wasn't just because of Ben Johnson or Dan Campbell's coaching. A whole heck of a lot of it, I think, has to be attributed and credited to Goff for his ability to process things pre and post snap and then figure out who will probably be open early in the progression. And if they're not, move on to the next guy and be willing to trust the reads, throw the football, share it amongst a whole heck of a lot of talented guys. 3 more throws here from Week 18 against the Vikings that I think illustrates the diversity from a timing standpoint, meaning Jared Goff was successful in 2023 on play concepts that were differential timing. This is a 4th and 1 completion to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Should be exciting for Lions fans because they have him back, probably to take the place of Josh Reynolds for some of the targets, but we all hope to see Jameson Williams' target share increase the most. This is a 4th and 1. Some quarterbacks are going to be looking to scramble at this point. Goff is very patient and savvy. He understands DPJ is running this route from the other side of the field, has cleared the safety Smith. And when you get the end zone angle of this play, you'll probably get a better appreciation of it. It goes down as a 20-yard gain. Off screen to our right is Peoples-Jones. Really quick play fake. That's so Goff can keep the football and then boot around to the edge. And that's all, I think, to try to get people flowing in this direction so then he can just stick this throw in behind them on the cross flow from left to right for the offense, right to left on our screen for Donovan Peoples-Jones. And you can see he's cleared the safety Smith. One of the linebackers is kind of in the window. Goff has to throw it out in front, perfectly timing, 20-yard gain. I think it just shows a lot about his skills, the wide variety of execution and implementation that him and Ben Johnson shared. The differential timing, to me, always sticks out. Reason probably is personal because we used to time quarterback releases on every play, whether it was shotgun or under center. We did so because we wanted to know how long does it take this quarterback to get rid of the ball, whether it's a run play or a pass play. A lot of offenses are designed to get rid of the ball on a certain timing, whether it's run or pass, inside run or outside run, and people don't know that. You can time it and then train your kids during the week on defense for how long they've got to focus on their specific key. Jared Goff and Ben Johnson's offense is differential timing constantly. This is I think, adjustment by Goff and the offensive staff. Twice earlier in the game, they were attacking left side deep. In this case, to me, it looks quite clear that they're expecting this to just act as a clear-out route. St. Brown would outside release. And then Reynolds on the sail concept to that side out of twins. Under center play action. Goff has looked here initially. He's off of this read quickly, and now he's over to St. Brown. Takes advantage of getting him the football slightly underthrown, and then St. Brown's got to bring it all the way back across the field. Ends up being a 70-yard touchdown. Finally, this unbelievable throw to Mitchell. Again, Week 18. Laporta's already been hurt at this point. So it's 11 personnel, pro twins. Mitchell is the tight end up here to the top side with Reynolds, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and St. Brown to the bottom. 2nd and 13, later in the game, second half, Goff moving out to his left. Amazing throw back across his body. I guess I should have included this in the first section of plays. Moved off his spot, throwing on the run. Vikings bring in a lot of pressure, or trying to, in those 2 games. Detroit's offense, Ben Johnson, really all over that defense. I thought had them on complete disarray, multiple concepts, run and pass alike. Same play, end zone angle. Mitchell's the tight end to the left. He'll eventually be off screen for us and then come back into focus when Goff finds him. You can see the blitzer from the edge has overwhelmed Gibbs and then gets free. Goff has no one available now that we can see, but Mitchell is off screen, wide open by the left hash, basically zone 2. Great catch. Goff threw it into the open space. Ends up going down as a 24-yard gain for Mitchell. If you're a Lions fan, you should be excited because you have a quarterback you can win football games with. For me, from a personal and selfish standpoint, I'm excited because for another year, I get to at least break down 2 disparate or different quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff, which hopefully makes me a better analyst. You feel free to let me know what you think my own weaknesses are when I'm talking about the quarterback play. I don't spend an inordinate amount of time focusing on quarterbacks, and that is quite intentional. I feel like there's a lot of people who try to evaluate the game, the NFL game or college football, who really only talk about quarterbacks. And many of them are former players, some of whom I really like as players and really respect their opinion. Having said that, if you want to show that you can break down the entire game, you should discuss more than just quarterbacks. We could do this the other way. If I only talked about defense and not offense at all, that would give you a very clear indication as to what my own weakness is, which is probably evaluating the offense, to be perfectly honest with you. It's my opinion that you should try to stretch yourself and evaluate as much of the game as possible, to the extent that you lose efficiency or lose accuracy when you're describing what happened on a play and why it happened that way. In my opinion, Jared Goff is the complete package for this Lions offense right now. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, could that be a different quarterback in a slightly different system? Presumably once Ben Johnson has moved on, sure it could. It's my opinion that when you have a guy who's shown you he can win on the road, in the playoffs, play well, damn near get you to a Super Bowl, you should lock that guy up. Now, what the money should look like, I don't know, man. I can't speculate on that. I just know that this is a guy I root for, and I will continue to root for in 2024, except for one game. And that's hopefully when the Ravens and Lions play in the Super Bowl this year, like we all would have wanted to see in 2023. Man, I appreciate you guys' time. You have to let me know if you enjoyed the way that I broke down the plays, the manner in which I tried to package the plays for you to show some of the things he could do. Forgive me for digressing a little bit, but I don't only break down quarterbacks, and that is intentional, as I pointed out one time before, because I want to try to give as much of the flavor of the NFL game as possible to fans as I'm capable of doing. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this breakdown, this serious look at Jared Goff's skills and execution in the 2023 season, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.